Forget every headline you have read, because the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie is no longer a missing persons case. It is a cardiac execution. Investigators have secured a forensic blueprint known as the cardiac signature, a minute-by-minute digital witness recorded by the pacemaker inside Nancy Guthrie's chest. At exactly 1:47 a.m., as the security cameras were blacked out, Nancy Guthrie's heart recorded a violent spike of absolute terror. This was not a medical glitch. It was the biological reaction to a calculated betrayal orchestrated by Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans. While the public was fed a narrative about a $6 million Bitcoin ransom, the real story was screaming from the digital logs of Nancy Guthrie. These logs prove that between 1:47 a.m. and 2:28 a.m., Nancy Guthrie was in passive transport. She wasn't walking. She was being chemically sedated and carried out of her own home. The question that haunts this investigation is simple. How did a biology teacher like Tommaso Cioni obtain medical-grade sedatives? And why did Dominic Evans, a man with a 20-year bond to Tommaso Cioni, reappear in the dark of night to smash the floodlights of Nancy Guthrie's residence? Tonight, I am revealing the red folder of evidence that has been suppressed for over 100 days. This isn't just a story about a missing woman. It is an investigation into a monster hidden within the inner circle of Savannah Guthrie and Annie Guthrie. In the next 10 minutes, we will trace the final coordinates where the signal of Nancy Guthrie went silent forever. Are you ready for the truth that Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans tried to bury in the Arizona desert? To understand the fate of Nancy Guthrie, you must view the past through a liar's lens. For years, the world watched the public success of the Guthrie family, but no one saw the silent exchanges occurring between Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans. This was a planned conspiracy disguised as domestic normalcy. If you analyze old family footage, you see the forced smiles of Tommaso Cioni and the visible tension of Annie Guthrie. The turning point was 2025, when Tommaso Cioni secured the durable power of attorney over Nancy Guthrie, providing both the access and the motive for what was to come. Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans shared more than a history of music. They shared a bond of operational discipline. On the evening of January 31st, Tommaso Cioni walked Nancy Guthrie to her door, a calculated final appearance to establish an alibi. But 4 hours later, the ground zero explosion began. While Annie Guthrie was led to believe everything was fine, Dominic Evans was allegedly utilizing a backward walk technique to bypass sensor detection. However, they could not bypass the pacemaker. The forensic trace revealed that Nancy Guthrie had been administered a sedative, a drug that matches the inventory of labs familiar to Tommaso Cioni. As the digital inferno ignited across national media, the narrative shifted from a simple kidnapping to a deep-rooted betrayal. The FBI bypassed local authorities, sending DNA samples from the home of Nancy Guthrie directly to Quantico. They knew the local investigation into Tommaso Cioni and Annie Guthrie was being compromised. This initiated a period of psychological warfare. Investigators returned to the property multiple times, digging through septic lines and towing vehicles belonging to Tommaso Cioni. Tommaso Cioni himself vanished for a week, a move experts describe as controlled optics to avoid the immediate heat of the FBI's nuclear revelation. The evidence now points to a third, silent partner. The movement logs confirm that Nancy Guthrie was moved with precision, a project executed by Dominic Evans under the guidance of Tommaso Cioni. The DNA found on a discarded glove matches a profile from a 2007 cold case, a case that once again links Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans to an unsolved disappearance. This rabbit hole goes deeper than the Guthrie family. It involves a 20-year pattern of deception that Nancy Guthrie finally discovered, leading to her being silenced. The final coordinate of her pacemaker signal places her near a corridor used by associates of Dominic Evans, heading south toward the border. The truth is no longer hidden. It is simply waiting for the final piece of the puzzle to fall into place. We are standing at the precipice of the truth regarding Nancy Guthrie. This investigation has shown that Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans didn't just plan a crime, they planned a cover-up that relied on your silence. But the cardiac signature of Nancy Guthrie cannot be silenced. Every detail we have uncovered today is a direct threat to the narrative being protected by high-priced lawyers and PR machines. This is why you must subscribe right now to stay protected. By joining this tribe, you are ensuring that the search for Nancy Guthrie does not get buried under legal injunctions or corporate blackouts. We are the only ones tracking the pharmacological sourcing that leads directly back to the professional life of Tommaso Cioni. The lawyers for the involved parties are already working to have this information suppressed. They want you to believe that the DNA of Dominic Evans appearing in the home of Nancy Guthrie is a coincidence. They want you to believe that Tommaso Cioni is a victim of circumstance. But we know better. Your subscription is your shield against the darkness of this cover-up. We are building a movement that refuses to let Nancy Guthrie become just another unsolved file. This case has polarized the nation. On one side, you have those who believe the family narrative. On the other, you have those who see the cold, hard data. I want to know where you stand, and I want the algorithm to see that we are watching Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans with unblinking eyes. Is Tommaso Cioni a victim of a tragic timeline, or is Tommaso Cioni the cold-blooded monster who used Dominic Evans to erase Nancy Guthrie from the map? Go to the comments right now. Type victim if you believe Tommaso Cioni is innocent, or type monster if you believe Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans are guilty of the ultimate betrayal. I am looking for the most detailed analytical theories to feature in the opening of part 2. Did the sedatives come from Tommaso Cioni's school lab? Was the Kia Soul driven by Dominic Evans? Your theory could be the one that finally shatters the silence of Annie Guthrie and her family. Subscribe, comment, and fight for the truth of Nancy Guthrie. The nuclear